What's up, you guys? Ross Sapp here for the Wrestling Inc. podcast, May 1st edition, brought to you by TrendyButler.com and DDPYoga.com/Wrestling Inc. I am joined by Vince Russo, and soon we'll be joined by Giri. Vince, how you doing?
I'm doing all right, Sean. How are you?
I am fantastic. Fantastic. Glad that it's May. Get rid of all this trash weather, but I understand you've still got some snow.
Oh, gosh, we've had trash weather all weekend, man. Terrible weather.
Well, we had WWE Payback tonight. Lots to talk about. Lots and lots to talk about. But I wanted to get your feelings just as an entire show. Obviously, there were some fun things that happened. There were some terrifying things that happened. But as a whole, how did you feel about this show when you came out of it based on what you expected going into it?
Sean, you know what? The two things that I really take away from this show, I'll tell you. First of all, bro, and you know, this kind of goes without saying, the guys and the gals worked really hard. You know, I mean, everybody up and down the card worked their butts off. I mean, yeah, I even saw I saw a couple of the early matches. I mean, everybody works so hard. Here's the negative, though, bro, that I take away from this. You know, Sean, maybe it's me, but it's like guys, they're just kicking out of too many things that should end the matches. Yeah, I mean, really, man, there's like some really devastating spots and some really devastating, you know, finishers. I mean, that should end the match, and they just never do anymore. And I got to tell you, it was more noticeable, and I'm not picking on the two guys because Zayn and Owens, you know, worked their butts off. But here's the problem as a casual fan, bro. When you hit each other with such, you know, phenomenal moves, and then, you know, all of a sudden 3 seconds later you're okay, it kind of takes the credibility you know, out of it for me. And I just feel that happened a lot tonight. There were just a lot of things that really should have finished matches, and they just didn't. You know, that's just, I mean, one thing, like, I'll tell you the one that really stuck out for me, and I know we're going to go over every match, Sean, but it was like in the Charlotte and Natalya match. That one kick where Charlotte almost took Natalya's head off, that should have been the 1, 2, 3. And I think there were a lot of spots throughout the night. Man, I just think the kicking out, I just think it's being done to death nowadays, my opinion.
We are joined now by Giri. Raj, what were your feelings on this pay-per-view as a whole, based on your expectations going in?
I liked it. I thought from top to bottom, I thought the wrestling was really good. Yeah. It sounds all right.
Yes, sounds good.
All right. But yeah, I thought as a wrestling show, it was fine. There's nothing really big happened. It's like every match, kind of, it was like a placeholder to just keep going. It felt like nothing was really settled with this pay-per-view, but it was an enjoyable show, I thought.
Well, we do have another pay-per-view in 3 weeks, so and that was kind of the feeling. Myself and Rob McCarran had talked about it on a couple of last week's shows, that we expected many of these matches to be played back in a few weeks at Extreme Rules. As I was telling Vince, we had some really good stuff on this show. We also had some really terrifying, tragic stuff. It was a real mixed bag, but they kept telling us this was a new era, a new era, a new era. Vince, if this is a new era, how do you feel about it?
Well, it just, what do they mean by new era? You know what I mean?
Baseball cap.
Yeah, I would just like to hear that defined. I mean, I didn't, you know, I mean, it was, you know, like I said, bro, I think there was great wrestling on the show. The guys worked their butts off, and the gals. I don't know what they mean by that. It just feels like the same show to me.
And the one issue I have with it is it reminds me a lot of when they were rebranding to the new generation. I don't know if you guys remember that back in the early 90s. And that was like their worst era, you know. And so that title just kind of reminds me of that.
I was a big fan of a writer named Vic Venom back then, if you would believe that.
Yeah, me too. I was a huge fan of Mr. Venom's. Huge.
But the show kicked off. Dolph Ziggler, Baron Corbin.
Ugh.
Yeah. Dolph Ziggler won this match. Did that make sense to anybody? It didn't make any sense to me, besides the fact that they're going to do it again at Extreme Rules. Vince?
Well, there you go. If Dolph Ziggler's going over, where's the new era? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, right off the bat, it's like, no, bro. And bro, we've talked about it for months. The do-si-do with this guy goes over, that guy goes over, this guy goes over, that guy. You can't do that with guys you're trying to establish. You just can't. If they wanted to keep Corbin on a roll, bro, you don't have to necessarily beat Dolph, but get Corbin DQ'd again, give Dolph a win, and he's half dead. It's especially guys just coming out of the gate, and I don't understand this kind of booking, bro. This isn't how we got guys over back in the day.
Exactly.
Raj, how ironic is it that Dolph Ziggler is now getting the win over younger talent who should be winning?
That finish made no sense, and that match was pretty bad too. I thought that was the worst match of the show, and you wonder why people don't get over. They're spending this time building him up, and then his first big match, he loses right off the bat. So
Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal winner.
Guys, it's so funny. Like, forget the Attitude Era, man. I can go back way before. I mean, bro, I remember when Jake Roberts first came on the scene. I remember when Randy Savage came to the Ricky Steamboat. All those guys. Warrior. And you got behind them and you believed in them because it was win. Then all of a sudden they got that one opponent. All of a sudden now Savage has DiBiase. Well, wait a minute, this ain't going to be so easy. That's how guys were built. I don't know how you can bring a guy in 3 weeks and have Dolph Ziggler, who doesn't mean anything on the roster right now, beat him. I don't. Somebody would really have to explain that to me.
Yeah, you wouldn't have Outback Jack beating Randy Savage 3 weeks in.
Right.
It makes no sense, and and I figured that's where they were going. I was like, it makes no sense for Ziggler to win this match, so they're probably gonna have Ziggler win to keep it going. I mean, it's like what you said, Vince. They could have done a DQ. They could have had, Corbin just refused to keep beating the crap out of him. But there we go.
There's somebody in particular I want to give props to on this show, Ryback, for a couple of reasons. He came out. He was in Chicago. Everybody knows about the issues that Ryback has had with CM Punk. He mocked CM Punk in his entrance, got a little heat there. Also, I don't know if you all saw this. He saved Kalisto's life on a dive that Kalisto did. It was terrifying. Kalisto did a dive from the inside of the ring. He jumped on the second rope inside the ring and tried to jump over the ropes to the outside and was inches away from cracking his head, neck. Who knows what could have happened on the apron, but Ryback wisely saved him. Not only that, made Kalisto land on his feet, so props to Ryback for that. I thought the two had a very good match, but ultimately it didn't mean anything because they haven't really built it up. It was for the U.S. title, but they've had a couple matches, I think, here and there on Raw and SmackDown, but nothing built this matchup, Raj.
Yeah, it was weird. It was, they didn't. Have they done any real angles between Ryback and Kalisto since WrestleMania?
They had a couple matches. That was it. And that's the thing. Yeah. I thought it was a really good match. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah. No, it was really good. But yeah, I mean, no build. It's almost like they were punishing Ryback for that interview he did a few weeks ago where he complained about the U.S. title being on the pre-show, and so they put it on the pre-show and then have him lose again.
Well, I want to cut you off real quick. How do you think they feel about his weight belt that he wore to the ring that said pre-showstopper?
That was awesome, I thought. That was great.
Vince, your thoughts on Ryback and his weight belt that said pre-showstopper?
Yeah, well, I mean, the guy's got a set, you kind of got to like that, but again, like, Sean, it's, when you talk about this being a great match, I don't deny the spots. But here's the problem I have with it. They hit big spots, and they don't take the time to sell those spots. Kalisto gets hit with a big spot. He's up 5 seconds later hitting Ryback with a big spot. Ryback gets hit with a big spot. 5 seconds later, he's up hitting. They're not selling anything, and that's why, to me, where I sit, you know, and again, I'm old school. I've got no problem being old school. But when a guy gets hit with something of a high impact and then he doesn't sell it, it's fake wrestling. And that's you know, I saw that a lot tonight. That's my opinion, but that's what I see.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. If it's meant to be realistic, would you sell it all?
What do you
How
mean?
often do you sell in a real fight?
You sell like a UFC fight. The guy is, you know, wobbly, woozy.
Scott Smith did when he knocked out Pete Sell, but I mean, like if
you get hit in a real fight and you're down, two things should happen. Number one, the guy should be trying to get on you immediately, and number two, you should be covering up trying to save your life. That doesn't happen in wrestling. It doesn't happen in wrestling, bro. Bro, I got to tell both of you guys something, please. Hear me out real quick, and I won't take a lot of time. I just watched Fully Loaded 1998, the dungeon match between Shamrock and Owen Hart.
I love it.
Oh my! That's what every match should be, Sean. That's what every match should be. My God, was that phenomenal?
We work dungeon style matches in our gym actually, so we can learn how to work without ropes, without turnbuckles.
Unbelievable that.
And the way that those two did it was unbelievable.
Unbelievable, bro.
Vince, I noticed
that was an awesome match.
You seem as
Shamrock
if
doesn't get enough credit, by the way. I just want to say that Shamrock does not get enough credit from going from the MMA world to the professional wrestling world and picking it up as quickly as he did. He does not get the credit he deserves.
I interviewed him for that Brawl for All article, and he said that he was honestly, his feelings like were hurt a little bit when they offered him the Brawl for All thing, because he said that he had worked so hard to transition and to get the trust of the guys that he was working with, because he didn't want them to think that he was going to shoot on him, and now he's being asked to shoot on them. And he was like, well, what the hell?
No, that makes perfect sense to me. I totally understand that.
Vince, you appear in higher definition than usual. Did you get a new camera?
No. Maybe it's me, bro. I shaved a little bit. Maybe that has something to do with it, bro. Nice.
It's a bit of a visual makeover, almost like the kind of visual makeover you could get.
See, I can't believe you just sucking me into that, bro. I can't believe.
I didn't see that one coming. That was pretty good.
Let stop for a second, Sean. I gotta give you a round of applause. Very nice. Go ahead, my friend.
TrendyButler.com. It is a fantastic clothing service that does all the work for you if you hate clothes shopping. Go there, TrendyButler.com. Create your own style profile based on your colors, your patterns, what kind of clothes you like, the way that you dress, your preferences. And a stylist will pick out the clothes for you. Even better, this is high-end clothing. I showed off one of the boxes that they sent me. I think I paid $65, and they sent me $200 worth of stuff. And it only advertises as like $150 for a $65 box. So they went above and beyond, and do so with several of the other ones that people have shown me. Check that out. Use the code Wrestling10, all caps, at TrendyButler.com. Every month, $65. They send you $150 worth of clothes, my friends. TrendyButler.com, code Wrestling10. Go support the Wrestling Inc. podcast. Tweet at them. Tell them we sent you. TrendyButler.com. And maybe you can look like Vince Russo in Crystal Clear HD. Vince, maybe they'll send... They need to send...
Bro, you got heat with me now. You set me up for a segue like I'm a rookie, bro. Like this is my first match, bro. Come on now.
Now, if you were to rank that on the swerve scale, what would... Give me an out of 5.
Oh, out of 5. Bro, what is it with you guys in 5? It should be a scale of 1 to 10. And on a scale of 1 to 10, I can't give you a perfect 10, but I would give you a 9, bro. I would absolutely give you a 9. Yeah.
That's a 4.5 out of 5.
Yeah, it is.
Which is our favorite number.
Yeah.
So to move on to less fun stuff, I really didn't want to do a segue out of this next match because we had some unfortunate stuff happen. New Day came out, got a big pop, by the way. They brought out the Vaudevillains, Enzo and Cass, for this tag team tournament match. During the match, Enzo was slid out of the ring, caught his head. I can't express this enough, guys, like viewers. This was not a work. In no way a work. We had a lot of people sending us stuff. He went out. It was terrifying. And, I mean, Raj, we covered the Pero Aguayo situation last year. That was, that's worst case scenario, but it's still something you fear. He was out cold. He wasn't moving. We saw tweets saying that Cass was crying at ringside, still not moving his extremities as he's wheeled out. Tell me how you felt when this happened. It was a scary moment.
Yeah, I mean, as soon as I saw him outside of the ring, I mean, that look on his face, you could tell he was out. I mean, he wasn't selling, and that was scary. I mean, I thought it was terrifying because, yeah, I mean, when you see stuff like that happens, a lot of times automatically you just start thinking the worst. So, luckily, I mean, it's weird to say luckily he's got a concussion, but luckily, if it's just a concussion, he's okay. Then that's great because that was a really scary looking moment.
Shout out to Mark Middleton for covering and updating that situation on the site while covering the WWE Payback pay-per-view. Great work from him. Vince, I know you're a big fan of Enzo. Yeah. This was scary, and I mean, me and Raj, we're big MMA guys. You could tell. I mean, Raj, correct me if I'm wrong. That's how somebody looks when they're out cold.
Yeah.
As they fall, they go completely limp. Vince, your feelings when this occurred?
Well, first of all, let me just say, listen, I spout out a lot about guys taking chances in rings and doing stuff they shouldn't do and putting their bodies and health and livelihood at risk. This was such a freaky. That was freaky. That was a freaky accident. You might not see that again. I mean, the way his head caught that rope, it was very freaky. I was really, really concerned, bro. Not so much, and it was kind of when they took the camera off of him on the outside, it looked like he was really having trouble breathing.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, oh, geez, man, don't tell me this guy, screwed up his neck. I mean, that was my first thought. He couldn't breathe. His neck is screwed up. But I was texting with somebody backstage, and they said, like, he was really, really messed up, but it was definitely, a concussion. But, yeah, man, it was freaky. Like Rod said, a concussion is not a good thing, and it can linger on for years. But, bro, he could have broke his neck so easy, man.
Yeah, I kept thinking about draws when when that was happening, and I was like, man, just really thinking about him. So
I kept going back to Pero Aguayo. I didn't think that he was going to die, but that it was head onto the ropes. But the Pero Aguayo thing, I think, was more the drop kick to the back from Rey Mysterio. And since then, Rey Mysterio doesn't drop kick people in the back like that anymore. So a change was made. Also, in a weird twist, like Kofi Kingston was videoing the whole thing ringside, like. Not like maliciously, like he had live streamed.
Yeah, he announced before the show he was going to be live streaming during the match on Facebook.
Yeah, so he was streaming them sitting outside on Facebook through the whole thing, and you could tell when it got serious, he dropped the phone and was like, worried, and just kind of forgot that he was live streaming. So, as far as Enzo as a character, do you think what do they do with Cass from here? Does he come out? Does this could be eerily reminiscent of the Shawn Michaels Diesel thing, if you remember that, when Shawn Michaels had the situation with Owen Hart and then Diesel beat the hell out of Owen Hart at the next month's pay-per-view. Does Enzo stay on TV through this?
Man, I'd love to see that, Sean. Like once I knew that Enzo was going to be okay, I mean, I started thinking about that. I hope that's the case. I really hope that's the case. I hope this guy doesn't have to go away for X amount of months because now Enzo does. That's always a tough situation, but they can really, really make this guy, if he steps up to the plate and literally takes those guys out for what they did to Enzo.
Oh yeah.
I don't think they'll do that. I just don't. But I would love to see that.
Yeah, I mean they've been getting hot, and it would be good if they can utilize that and just not stop it dead. Have Enzo with Big Cass Big Cass is trying to get revenge because the energy changes when they come on TV. It's like it's kind of like with the New Day, but the whole. Yeah, exactly. The energy changes, and so it'd be really bad if it'd be really sad if they were taken off TV.
I posted those YouTube WWE rankings today, and you had like the first match of Carl Anderson and Doc Gallows, Stephanie McMahon and Shane McMahon. You had Roman Reigns, and then you had a segment with Enzo and Cass. So I mean, it shows you they're getting a lot of attention, and they're transcending, and they fit in with the casual fans. And you know what? I could see. By the way, Enzo has been discharged from the local medical facility that he was sent to. He has a concussion. They said testing was negative for everything else. Great news in comparison to what it could have been. I hope he's back soon because he is a hand. Fortunately for him, he's a hand even if he can't wrestle. So that's good. Vince, how do you see this affecting him and his momentum?
You know, bro, that's a good question, Sean. Affecting him and his momentum. I don't think he's going to affect his momentum at all. The guy is phenomenal. I'm a little concerned about him mentally. If this is really the first concussion this guy has really received, as serious as it was, and keep in mind, bro, this Enzo was not a guy that went through the regular system, like the Owenses and the Zayns and stuff. This guy was more or less a gym rat who wanted to learn to become a wrestler. So, bro, if this was the first time he suffered, such a serious injury, I hope that doesn't screw him up or affect him. As far as his momentum, bro, nothing's going to stop his momentum. The guy's too good.
Raj, I keep having this, thinking what can happen with this. They showed this so many times that almost has to be used in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it was weird how many times they were showing it before they knew exactly what was wrong. But yeah, I mean, you could build a big return when he comes back. The only thing is WWE, they have a history of kind of de-pushing guys after they suffered a concussion. Dolph Ziggler was World Heavyweight Champion, got the concussions, never been the same. I mean, he's never been pushed at the same level. Christian, a bunch of guys in the past that, Daniel Bryan. So,
really wouldn't mind, Enzo coming back and almost, in backstage vignettes doubting himself a little bit, and then, finally, and Big Cass even maybe saying like, maybe this isn't for you, something like that. I doubt they'll play off of that, but then, he makes a big fiery comeback and helps. He gets a hot tag instead of Cass in a match, and, kind of gains his confidence back.
Yeah, I guess I just don't see it happening because they don't like using the word concussion on TV.
Yeah.
They try to stay away from that as much as possible. So I can't see them using that as a storyline.
Very good point. Next up, Kevin Owens, Sami Zayn. There was no better place to put this match probably in the history of time than right here, because this crowd really, really, really needed something after the air was taken out of it, Raj.
Yeah, but at the same time, I mean, it shows what a pro Owens is, because Owens, he rides with these guys. He's close with Enzo and Cass. So to go out there and not just for a match, but then also working behind on the mic, for the whole next match. Yeah, I mean, he really impressed me. So he did a great job.
Vince, I know that you said you had some issues with the psychology of this match. I kind of liked it. I mean, Owens won clean with his pop-up powerbomb.
Yeah, I have no problem with the finish, bro. Just I thought there were too many high spots and guys bouncing back too soon from the high spots. But I want to address what Rod just said, because that's very, 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 very important, bro. When you're backstage and you wrote a show, and all of a sudden that first match out the gate, you're 15 minutes short now, bro. The fact that they went to Owens, they extended the match, give Zayn, Sami Zayn credit too, but then gave Owens the interview in the ring afterwards, put Owens on color. That says a lot of how much faith they have in Kevin Owens. A lot. Because like I said, bro, when all of a sudden, 10 minutes into the show, you're 15, 20 minutes short. And for him to step up when they needed him to step up, that's gonna pay off in volumes for him through that locker room.
Raj, what did you think of the match?
I got to go back and watch it because I was dealing so much with the Enzo stuff, and posting stuff and trying to find out more about it. So, but from what I saw of it, it was really good. It was just hard for me to get into it after what had just happened. So I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch it. But I thought overall, Sami looked kind of weak because not only did he lose, and I don't think he's won on pay-per-view yet. But then he was laid out again, at the end of the next segment. So
he technically won on Roadblock, but that was against Stardust, and it was a very competitive match against Stardust, which is weird.
Yeah, exactly. So so I don't know. I thought the match was good, but they just keep beating Zayn, and I think he needs to get some wins, before he fades out.
I really liked the match. I like the direction they're going where Kevin Owens, well, I thought he was going to beat the hell out of Byron Saxton if we could be so lucky. By the way, we haven't talked about this. Not a promising time to be a male broadcaster in the WWE. They let Kyle Edwards and Rich Brennan go last week, Raj.
Yeah, and I liked Rich Brennan. I thought he was pretty good. I thought he had potential. So, yeah, that was. I mean, this is usually the season where they kind of trim the fat a little bit. So I was kind of surprised to see him go.
After the match, Kevin Owens called Byron Saxton in the ring, invited himself to do commentary. He was unbelievable on commentary. He's got, and here's the thing, English isn't his first language.
Sean, we got to stop the unbelievable. I got to stop you right there.
He was good.
No, Sean, you're missing the whole point. When you're on color, you need to be putting the talent in the ring over, bro. That's what you need to be doing on color. He spent the whole match talking about himself and the Sami Zayn match. That's what he did that the entire match.
Why would Zayn as a character, or why would Owens as a character do any different?
Because, bro, now that you have the talent in the match, you don't want to take away from their match. He beat Sami Zayn. That should be in the rearview mirror now. Now he should have his sights on the Intercontinental title and The Miz. Now, bro, that comes with inexperience. But when you're sitting there putting over yourself and your match with Sami Zayn, you're burying the guys in the ring. Now, if you're talking about the gift of gab and the one-liners, yes, he was phenomenal. But the psychology of what he should have been doing was wrong. And, bro, I'm going to tell you something, Sean. I don't blame him. He's got a headset. Somebody experienced should have been telling him that, bro, you need to put the talent over in the ring. Because those guys were having the match, and Kevin Owens was talking about Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn. They already had their match, bro. You got to put the guys in the ring over.
Well, I thought, he was there. It wasn't like he was there to do commentary. He was there to build up a feud with The Miz. So, for the Intercontinental title. So for that reason, I thought it was fine. But
and that's who Kevin Owens has always been, himself above everybody else.
Nah, bro, that is absolutely untrue. And again, I'm telling you, based on experience, I'm watching the Attitude Era now, and Shawn Michaels just came back after losing to Austin at WrestleMania. Nobody was more into themselves like Shawn in the history of professional wrestling, including Kevin Owens. And Shawn sat there and put every single person in that ring over and never talked about himself.
Michaels wasn't active, much less having wrestled like 5 minutes before.
It doesn't matter, bro. How do you, bro? When Cesaro and Miz go back and listen to that match, how do you think they're going to feel listening to Kevin Owens talk about himself through their entire match? You think they're going to like that, the Miz and Cesaro? They ain't going to like that, bro, because he should have been putting them over in that match.
If it makes their next program bigger, I don't see why not. I mean, this is the four of them, Zayn, Owens, Miz, and Cesaro. I mean, I think that's a good Intercontinental title program.
Why is Zayn even being put in an Intercontinental title program though if he just lost?
He shouldn't be. If we're going as if it's a real sport, he absolutely shouldn't be.
Yeah,
because he just lost the IC title match. Meanwhile, Zack Ryder, that poor guy, he won the title at WrestleMania. He's nowhere.
Yeah. That was a fast fall. That was only 4 weeks ago, right?
I guess Emma's an okay consolation prize, to be fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll take that. Cesaro versus Miz, a lot of working of the shoulder. We had an ending where Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn ran out, attacked Kevin Owens. They brawled inside the ring. carried on in there. It ended with Kevin Owens standing tall. Vince, your thoughts on the Cesaro-Miz match and the direction they're going with the Intercontinental title?
I would just
Seems like Fatal 4-Way.
Yeah, it is, and they're definitely not going to do that. And this is where they miss the interesting hooks that they create themselves, and then they go back to baby faces and heels, and they totally drop the ball on what could be interesting. I sit here every week, Sean. I tell you, you got to put, when you're writing the show, you got to put yourself in the shoes of the performers. Right now, freaking Cesaro should be livid at Sami Zayn, because at the end of the day, Sami Zayn cost him that match, and Cesaro should be, brother, your match was over. Your match was over, okay? You lost your match. Now you come out during my match, you cost me. That would be a hell of a story, and especially a tremendous story to get into a four-way if they want to. But the fact that in the WWE universe, Zayn's a babyface and Cesaro's a babyface, so Cesaro can't have any heat with. But that's where you don't build characters. Because Cesaro should be freaking livid at Sami Zayn tomorrow night on Raw, and that would build his character. The fact that he's just going to forget about it or blame the both of them, that's where they miss opportunities, in my opinion.
Oh, they'll be, not only will he not blame him, they'll be tagging together at the SmackDown tapings on Tuesday, probably.
Yeah, probably.
No, I agree with that, Vince. I mean, they, and who knows? Maybe they will follow up with it tomorrow on Raw, but I'm pretty sure they won't.
We always assume that it's so obvious that they will, but they never do. Vince, isn't that an insult to our intelligence?
No, bro, because when and Raj does this all the time, bro, and you do it too, Sean, all the time. When you start thinking along the same wavelength as them because of what they do, you know what to expect, bro, and that's the problem. When they keep doing the same thing over and over and over and over and over, there's no unpredictability in the product. That's a big issue and a big part of the problem. So they've trained us to know we're playing baby faces, we're playing heel. There are no shades of gray, so Cesaro cannot have heat with Sami Zayn. They've trained us that way.
We can't all be as unpredictable as the Vince Russo versus Trendy Butler storyline. That's for sure. I'd really like to see the Sami Zayn, Kevin Owens thing. I've mentioned it before. Just have two guys that every time they see each other, make a beeline for each other and fight. No, we don't need to hear them talk. If they do have this Intercontinental title match, they should probably be so worried about beating the crap out of each other that neither one of them wins the title. Next up, Chris Jericho, Dean Ambrose. Guys, I did not like this match. Dean Ambrose looked like he was going through the motions. He looked like he would have rather have been anywhere but in Chicago tonight, outside of maybe the comeback. The one good thing I can say is I liked seeing the finish out of the struggle to get the finish. Dean Ambrose really struggled to get the double underhooks for his Dirty Deeds finish, then hit it, then pin Jericho. That's about the only good thing I can say about this match. Raj, how did you feel about the match?
Yeah, I felt like something was missing. I think Ambrose has lost a lot of steam over how he's been booked the last few months. You get the feeling that people just don't see him as a top guy anymore. And he's really been hurt by their booking. And this match, on paper, I was really looking forward to this feud, but it just hasn't really done anything. So. Yeah, I thought the match on the main show, I thought this was the weakest match on the card.
Vince, you have said time and time again, Dean Ambrose needed to win this match. Were you satisfied, and what did you think of the performance as a whole?
Well, yeah, I'm definitely satisfied. He needed a win. It's like the thing though, like that I don't get, like is, they do the whole spot they're doing the spot on the announcers table. The object of the match is to pin your opponent inside the ring. So, like, why you're trying to put your guy through the announce table, like, I'll never understand in a million years. And, again, that's where it gets broken down, for me. But I think that was the most important thing. I think Ambrose needed a big win, and he got the big win. So now you just have to see where they go with it. They'll probably give Jericho a rematch and put Jericho over.
Maybe there's some untold bonus for getting on one of those like top 10 moments of Raw YouTube things, and that's why everybody goes after this announce table. I highly doubt it. Dean Ambrose, and I'm a big fan of Dean Ambrose. Really like watching him work. Just didn't seem right. Seemed sluggish. In my opinion, he could use some rejuvenation in the form of ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. We saw DDP at what, 60 years old show up at WrestleMania?
Yeah.
60!
Yeah.
60 years old, and it's because of ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. You can go there and get a great deal on the Max Pack. DDP's in Australia for the last week. He did a DDP Yoga workshop today, screened the resurrection of Jake the Snake last week, which you can see now on Vudu, Amazon, Google Play, iTunes, PlayStation Network, every video on demand service. So go check that out, ddpyoga.com/wrestling inc. Again, let DDP know that the Wrestling Inc. podcast sent you. And, of course, guys, anything that we push on the show, tweet at me. Let me know how you like it. Let me know how it's doing for you. That stuff is important to us. But, yeah.
Bro,
I know one thing. He can't do that yoga in those jeans.
Bro, if I was still booking and DDP was in Australia, I'd have him trying to teach kangaroos DDP yoga, just so you know. And I'd watch that, to be honest with you.
Man. Moving on. Natalya versus Charlotte. Natalya there with Bret Hart. Charlotte with Ric Flair. I got to say one thing. Charlotte has a beautiful moonsault. My God, that thing is beautiful. Thought the match was fun. Vince, I want you to go through this ending with me, the Chicago screw job. Please, I can't wait to hear your thoughts.
Well, bro, you just said it, Sean, and I was talking about the kick, too, that almost took Natalya's head off. The moonsault was a beautiful moonsault. Like, why didn't that end the match? I don't understand. Listen, Natalya, people love Natalya. They're always going to love Natalya. You just love that girl. Everybody does. Charlotte should have went over. And she should have beat her clean, like I said, with that moonsault. Keep building her as this strong, heel that nobody can beat. That would not have hurt Natalya whatsoever. But, bro, the Chicago screw job, then the double sharpshooter. And, bro, can I just say something to the fans? Which really pissed me off, bro. Bro, can we stop with the "we want"? When do they not understand when they chant "we want Sasha"? You're disrespecting the two girls in the ring. Like, does any grown-up not understand that? And, and here's Natalya that's so loved, and everybody was so happy she was in the spot, and both girls are working their asses off. You don't know any better than to not chant, "Oh, we want one of the other female wrestlers." I can't stand that, bro, when it comes to the crowd. I really can't. It's so freaking disrespectful, bro.
Raj, your thoughts? I was really looking forward to this match, and I felt like that ending just kind of killed it. We're coming up on 20 years now since the Montreal Screwjob, and every time they use that as to end a match, it just gets hokier each time. I've never seen it done well. Like
they played towards this younger audience that wasn't even alive when this happened.
Yeah, exactly. And so it would be funny if they threw had Natty knocking out Stephanie McMahon backstage later or something, kind of take it to the next level. But as
how are neither one of them firing Charles Robinson right now?
Yeah, it was just, it was a desperate way to do a Montreal screw job, and it's just keeping this feud alive for the next pay-per-view.
Well, we went from a lame ending to a really super lame segment. Vince McMahon came out. He soaked in those CM Punk chants. He's figured out how to get rid of them. He just said, "Go ahead, get it out of your system," and that was that. Stephanie McMahon was followed, and she made her case, and she said that Shane McMahon left you guys for years and didn't care about you. And to that I say, she picked the wrong city to try to get somebody to boo a guy who left them for years and didn't care about them because they just chanted for CM Punk right before that. So obviously no lesson learned about that. Shane McMahon comes out, which prompts the line of, forever. Vince McMahon said figuratively that he wanted his children to slit each other's throats, Vince.
Bro, I don't know. Sean, I don't know. I don't know. Here's the problem I have with this. Okay, I was there when we made Vince McMahon the biggest heel in probably the history of the business. We made him the biggest heel in the history of the business to get other people over. Vince McMahon being such a great heel got Austin as perhaps the most over talent in the history of the business, got Mick Foley over, got The Undertaker over. That's why we made Vince a heel, to get other people over. When you're going to have a tit-for-tat between Stephanie and Shane, they're going to be the focal point. I don't know who you're getting over. We saw it with Triple H. We saw Seth Rollins kissing his backside and kowtowing to Triple H. That was not getting, Seth Rollins over. So we're making the Stephanie Shane story the main story. I don't know how that's getting talent over. That's what I don't understand. Maybe I'm missing something.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I mean, that's been the problem for so long, is that the main focus of the storylines has been on the McMahons or Triple H or guys that aren't full-time performers, and the reason why you have this drop every year in the ratings is because you're not building new stars, and this is exactly why. All the focus is, and this whole Shane and Stephanie thing, I already don't care. There's not. Just seeing Stephanie around for so long, at least Shane was a breath of fresh air, and now with Stephanie back in there, it's just, I don't know. It just seems like kind of going back again.
Vince announced that they will both run Raw. Either they will compete with each other or work with each other, whichever it may be. But yes, he did indeed say that he wanted his children to slit each other's throats, figuratively. This is not even a week after Ric Flair saying "kill yourself" was edited off TV. This led to the main event: Roman Reigns versus AJ Styles. These two went back and forth, had a really high-impact, fast-paced match. It ended in a countout. AJ Styles won. Shane McMahon came out and said, no, this can't end via countout. Then Roman Reigns hit AJ Styles with an accidental low blow, caused a DQ. Stephanie McMahon came out and said, this isn't going to end this way. Now it's no DQ.
No one bought that DQ either when that happened. No. Everyone was just waiting for Shane or Stephanie to come out.
So technically, guys, AJ Styles has defeated Roman Reigns twice on pay-per-view. With the no DQ, Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows came out, attacked Reigns. The Usos came out, and let me just say, Roman Reigns did not give a damn about the Usos, did he?
Oh,
he threw AJ Styles onto him, then jumped on them himself, and eventually Reigns speared AJ Styles for the victory. Raj, your thoughts on the match, the Stephanie Shane upstaging, Reigns not giving a damn about his cousins?
Yeah. I thought the match was really good. I mean, Styles was just, that forearm he did to the outside, on the table, I thought was just awesome. So I actually thought this match was really good. I was kind of surprised at how much AJ was booed. Like, I wasn't expecting him to get booed at all, but, he didn't get as much as Reigns, but, he definitely wasn't the overwhelming fan favorite that I was expecting. But it was a good match. It seems weird to announce a rematch right away when it was a clean finish, pretty much. But and it just seemed anticlimactic the way they did it. But the match itself, I thought it was good. But it's not doing Reigns any favors. I feel like they're gonna have to pull the trigger on a heel turn or do something, because the path they've got him on right now is probably going to lead more to disinterest rather than like a John Cena type reaction.
Vince, we complain a lot about 50-50 booking in the WWE. This was 66-33 booking. AJ Styles did beat him twice, but didn't win the big one. Your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, two things stand out. First of all, I agree, Raj. I thought the match was good, really, really good. These guys worked really, really, really hard. So I enjoyed the match from start to finish. Two things were kabuki-ish to me, and it comes down to the writing again. It's not the talent. It comes down to the writing. Number one, Why are Gallows and Anderson out there for 45 minutes before the Usos show up? That's such lazy freaking booking, because the freaking Usos should have been waiting right behind that curtain because of what's happened on TV the last 3 weeks. And as soon as those guys went out, they should have been on them. And then they should have creatively wrote that story. Again, the brothers, I'm assuming, were in the toilet, sitting in the side-by-side stalls, taking a dump while the other two guys hit the ring. That's number one. Number two, did you guys notice this at all? Did you notice when Reigns took that swan dive on everybody on the outside, AJ wasn't even in the pile? Just think about the logic in Reigns' mind. I'm fighting for my life here. I'm fighting to keep this title, but I'm going to take out 4 other guys that aren't even in the match and sacrifice my body to lose. Like, that's what I mean about, like, does anybody there just think these things through? That's not on the talent. That's, they're going over that match with the agents. And somebody has to raise a red flag and say, bro, why are you taking out 4 guys that aren't in the match when AJ isn't even in the pile? That to me, there's just no excuse for that. I'm sorry. Maybe you think it's nitpicking. No, bro, I think it's stupid.
I would agree. I didn't even notice that AJ wasn't in there, but it's inexcusable. Why? I don't know why he would even want to do that. It's a shame because it's a beautiful move. It's a very athletic move, but if it doesn't make sense, why are you doing it?
Yeah, exactly. And half of the guys in that pile are your boys. So you don't hit your opponent, and 2 of them are your cousins. So.
Get away from my special moment.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Vince, Roman Reigns wins. They backstage, Shane McMahon sets up a rematch at Extreme Rules, an Extreme Rules match. So this strings it out along a little bit. But this was, this Gallows-Anderson, who are they going to side with thing has been something that is at least, unpredictable at the very least. No answers yet. Will we ever get answers, or are we going to get answers at Extreme Rules, Vince?
I mean, I would have to think we're going to – I mean, it's only 3 weeks away. So, I mean, I kind of get to, keep the mystery going, but I would have to think, something's got to give at the next pay-per-view.
Vince, what would you rate this pay-per-view out of 10?
Out of 10, I'm going to give it just on work rate alone, because a lot of the guys worked really, really hard. The main event, those guys worked really hard, even though those spots didn't make any sense. I'll give it a 7.
Sorry about that, Raj. Let's hear your rating, my friend.
Yeah, I think probably like a 7. Yeah, a 7 sounds about right. I thought it was good, but there's nothing particularly important that happened. But it was an entertaining show.
7s across the board. Let's answer some questions. Ooh, here's a good one right off the bat. Has Raj gotten Vince a Wrestling Inc. shirt yet? I haven't gotten mine.
Of course not. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna write it down right now.
I'm promoting Vanderbilt here, Raj. Just so you know.
I'm a Kentucky guy. I hate Vanderbilt.
I could be promoting Wrestling Inc.
I would fight Kevin Stallings if I saw him right now. I would.
Right. I'm sending it this week. It's in the mail.
Hope I get one too.
All right, I'll send you both one.
Is Sami Zayn a sore loser? It sure seemed like it. Vince, your thoughts?
Well, I would love to see them do something with him. I'd love something, and if that's something that'll give him a little bit of a story, I don't have an issue with that. I told you I'd love to see some with Cesaro and him, but I'd love something for Sami Zayn.
Raj.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, yeah, I think. Yeah, I thought he was booked to look weak tonight. So, because he comes out looking for revenge and gets laid out again. But yeah, I mean, I feel like they need to give him some meaningful wins and establish him, because he hasn't been established on the main roster yet. He was established in NXT, and they're kind of piggybacking off of that. But on the main roster, he just loses all the time.
Vince, this is a good one for you. Did Cena kicking out of every finisher for the last 10 years influence everybody to now kick out of everything?
I don't know, bro. Something's changed. I just, guys, I hate to do this to you, but I'm only saying it because I'm watching it. watching the Attitude Era, every week it was one move and over, 1, 2, 3, one boom and over. So I mean, literally between 98 and today, something drastically changed. I would love to kind of go back and figure out what it is. Maybe it does have something to do with Cena. I don't know, but I could tell you, man. 15 years ago, it was still the one finishing move, and it was over.
Where I started noticing it was when Shawn Michaels and Undertaker wrestled at that WrestleMania, and they just kept kicking out the tombstones, and then they started doing that at every WrestleMania match where they're constantly kicking out of finishes. Now that's moved on to just all pay-per-views. But I agree. I mean, I think those moves should be protected. No one kicks out of, even Cena. Criticized Cena for kicking out. Everyone kicks out of the AA, as well. So, I agree. They need to. I feel like they should go through a period where you hit your move and the match is done, and re-educate fans that the finishers mean something.
One of my trainers told me, especially on the indie circuit, you better let them know a finish is your finish, because you're not on TV every week. So these guys, they are on TV every week. Everybody knows their finishes, but at the same time, it's happening at every pay-per-view now. And I'm okay if it happens once in a while, as if it's somebody pulling deep down and having that clutch factor or something, but all the time, every match. It happens a lot on Raw too. Happens even on SmackDown on occasion. I think a finish should be a finish in most situations. Also, I think some things that aren't a finish should be a finish. You can't make everything so predictable for people. And now it's this weird paradox where unpredictability is almost predictable now. You almost know that people are going to kick out of all these finishes. Mm-hmm. So it's having like a reverse effect, which is unfortunate. Somebody says, you're telling me Russo is missing Game of Thrones to do a WWE podcast.
Bro, I've never seen one single episode of Game of Thrones. Not one.
I'm missing Game of Thrones. I'm a huge fan, but I'm watching it right after the show.
I've watched about 5 minutes of it. Didn't seem like my thing. I'm going to try to get into it a little bit later. Somebody asks, would Orton be a good fit with Gallows and Anderson instead of AJ? I think you can find a way to make people care less about him than that, but Raj, how do you feel?
Nah, I don't see it. I just don't see it. I just don't like that pairing. Yeah, I don't see it. I think AJ makes the most sense. I don't think Finn Balor really needs him, so I think AJ definitely does make the most sense.
Vince?
Yeah, no, I don't see that at all.
Somebody asks, does having 3 different endings, 2 of the decisions going to AJ, help or hurt AJ's credibility? Raj?
I don't think it does anything. I think everything kind of stays where it is because both the countout was weak and the DQ was weak. It wasn't like he got the countout after a great match, and because up until that point the match wasn't anything yet. So I don't think it does anything.
Somebody says, I dare you to find something positive about the McMahon segment and main event. Well, the main event was fun.
Everybody put over the main event. We said it was a great match. What's this guy want us to do over here, man? What do we got? What do you want?
I don't know. I don't know.
Every time I got to tell you something. Every time I come on this show, I say the good and the bad. I do every week, and then I go on my Twitter the next day, and everybody in their mind, they think everything I said was negative.
I dare anybody to find a unanimously good 3 to 3.5 hour block of television viewing.
Yeah, I'm like, bro, did you not listen to the show? I don't, if it's good, those guys had a great match. We said they did.
Yeah, and even the McMahon segment, I liked Vince shutting down the CM Punk chants. I thought that was pretty entertaining. But yeah, I feel like every week we go over what was good and what was bad. And if you just harp on what we say about the bad and say we're always negative, well, that's your issue.
Indeed. Like I said, 3 hours of anything, you're going to find bad. You might find good. Somebody asks if Russo is missing Teen Mom for this podcast. That's tomorrow.
Monday nights. Monday.
You jamoke. It's
and the
season's
over. Last week was the season finale, so I'm good.
The awareness on some of these viewers. Can you believe it, Vince?
No, I can't.
How can they not know when Teen Mom is on?
Somebody asks if Enzo or if Cass is dead in the water without Enzo. Vince?
No, I don't think so. I don't. And you know what, see, bro, this is the perfect opportunity. Again, I'm putting my writing hat back on. This is the perfect opportunity to see what the guy's got. You know what I'm saying? See what he's got. Little Enzo isn't there. Let's put Kaz out there. Let's put the spotlight on him. Let's see what this guy can do on the main stage. It's a perfect opportunity. I would love to see it happen. I don't think it will, but no, bro. I think he'll be fine.
Plus, Cass has got the size that Vince likes, so he'll be fine. It's not like, when the Uso, when one got injured, that they kept them both off of TV more or less, for that whole time. I see them using Big Cass.
Yeah, I think this is a little bit of an opportunity for Cass. Somebody says, has Russo seen McGregor's promos? I will send them to him tonight.
Yeah, bro, I've been hearing that for 4 weeks, bro. You're sending me the guy's promos.
I will send them to him tonight. I promise.
Between McGregor's promos and my Wrestling Inc. shirt, bro, the two of you promises.
Well, listen, buddy, if you would just order from TrendyButler.com and use the coupon code Wrestling10, you'd be able to clothe yourself, Vince.
And, bro, speaking of Trendy Butler, everybody wants you to send me that hat because they know I'll wear it on the show.
You know what?
You want to get Trendy Butler over? Give me the hat. I'll wear it on the show.
I might do that because I understand, that you and Raj have had a ton of snow this week, and it's 80, 85 here. But you all are buried under snow.
Yes.
No, it's been snowing, but it hasn't stuck. You look outside, and it's pretty. Nothing got on the road, so it's not too bad for how long it's been snowing.
I always hear that from you and people that live in Colorado. Oh, it's not bad. It's just 7.5 inches of snow. That's it. They shut down the world out here for that.
I remember, when I lived in D.C., it was it's like the apocalypse outside when it snows an inch. But here, no, nothing stuck, and it's going to be in the 70s this week. So.
Yeah. A bit of a programming note, guys. We're making a little change to the Thursday show. We've got some interesting stuff planned, me and Raj. We'll let you know more about that this week. Me and Rob McCarron will still be around Wednesdays at 10 p.m. Also, of course, tomorrow night after Raw. But, Vince, before we go, tell them about the brand.
Yeah, big week on Podcast One this week. Tomorrow, the lovely, beautiful Mickie James. And then Podcast One, Mickie James will be on Tuesday. Actually, it's a day behind the video. And on Friday, Turtle, my good friend Turtle from Entourage.
Nice.
Is going to join me. We're going to talk a little about wrestling. Jerry Ferrara on that'll be Friday on Podcast One. We have a daily show every day. Check it out on russosbrand.com.
I'm a big Entourage fan.
I wanted to say this too. Kevin Owens tweeted a picture from the hospital, and Enzo looks fine. He's talking to Big Cass. He's standing up, talking to him, and so all is he's been discharged. So it's good news on that front.
Yep, good,
awesome, guys. Obviously, stay tuned to the site. I'll be talking to King Mo this week, former TNA wrestler, now in Bellator. Christopher Daniels. We have the Ring of Honor Global Wars viewing party next Sunday. Usually they do their pay-per-views on Friday. This is going to be on a Sunday. So join me for that. Lots of cool stuff on that show. Raj, anything you want to leave the viewers with before we go?
No, I think that about covers it.
As always, leave a thumbs up on this video. Subscribe on YouTube. We have all kinds of fun stuff going up. TrendyButler.com, code Wrestling10, all caps, DDPYoga.com/WrestlingInc. Thank you guys so much. We are back tomorrow night after Raw. Until then, we are out.